Few practices have changed my life in the last 20 years, like journaling. And not the like Dear Diary type of journaling, and not the one where you document your whole life, but this kind of journaling I'm going to share with you today has been absolutely transformational at helping me think more clear, helping me battle back depression, helping me with like ADHD tendencies. It's just been so very helpful. And like this is the journal I'm using right now, but I have stacks and stacks and stacks of journals. And I'm gonna share why I think journaling is so helpful, but also the strategies I use with journaling that are very helpful as well. Just basically how it works, tips to do it better, common mistakes people make with journaling, and how journaling can seriously unlock the next best version of yourself. Okay, so let me tell you how I do it. This is not how I always did it, but I started reading this book, and I'm not sure I can actually recommend the book because I'm very serious about the books I recommend, but it's called The Artist Way. And for me personally, I don't gravitate towards new agey things, and some of the book felt that way to me, but it was recommended by a dear friend who I really trust. So I started reading it, and what she calls her journaling style is morning pages. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you to do it the morning pages way, because I already was doing it so much like she said with the morning pages, but I have incorporated a couple of things that I think are really gonna up-level your journaling experience. But here's the gist. When we journal, it helps us understand what we think. I love this quote from a man named John Piper, but he says, "I write so I know what I think." And I don't know about you, but sometimes my head feels like a very cluttered space. It feels like I have all these random sticky notes all over my brain. My thoughts do not feel linear. Confusion. I don't feel like I think it battles back a lot of confusion, and it helps us see what's really going on in life a bit more clear. Like sometimes like our feelings feel like our reality, and when I journal, I feel like I see things a bit more for what they are, and it helps me step back and evaluate a situation. And I feel like it helps me step into that better version of myself as a woman and a mother. So I do 3 pages every morning. Like as soon as I wake up, I just start writing. Absolute stream of consciousness. And here's the key. I don't judge myself at all. I will say the most horrendous things in my journal. I am honest. And my husband and I, we don't read each other's journals from the very beginning. It's like our journals are just hands off. And I don't even have any desire to read his. Like mine is probably just garbage. I don't even think mine are going to be anything that my kids would want to read. They are simply a practice for me. For me, they're a spiritual practice to just understand what's going on in my heart and my mind. I just get it out. The things I'm frustrated about, the things that, like just the pain I'm feeling in life, the little pain, the big pain, I just get it all out. And what she makes a case for in the book, The Artist Way, is that it gets the inner critic out of the way. So imagine that we have a voice inside of us that's like, oh my goodness, you can do this. Like, don't give up. You can be a great mom. Hold out for those high ideals. And then we have this voice in us that's like, who do you think you are? Why do you think that you could raise great children? Why do you think that you could even step into this better version of yourself? You always let yourself down. And what I feel like it does for me when I journal is it gets that voice out. It pushes it out. And also too, I feel like for me uniquely as a Christian, my journaling starts to become prayer. I start talking to the Lord. Even this morning I was journaling and there's some confusion about a couple things in our lives. Like, should we do this? Should we not do this? Should we quit this? And when I journaled, it just basically, I didn't really know what I thought at the end. I could tell very quickly, this is bothering me, this is bothering me, and this is bothering me. But then I just asked the Lord for wisdom. Like, Lord, I don't want to be a fool. I need your help. I don't know exactly what to do. And so that's just an example of like how it works for me. When I was in college, I just free flowed. Like I free flowed to the point where I would draw all over the page. I went through a season where I didn't even use journals with lines because I wanted to be able to just draw in any pattern. I had more time, so I was a bit more creative. But, even like recopying Bible verses that I wanted to memorize. So that's how I use my journal. Well, that's how I used my journal when I was in college. Now it's just lines, free flow, stream of consciousness, 3 pages no matter what. And yeah, it's not glamorous. It's a lot of complaining. But hey, it's just helped me do a lot less complaining to my husband. to my mom, to my kids, just journaling and getting it out. So morning and night, I also will break out my journal in the middle of the day. If something crazy happens, like I will just start writing. Like if I just need to like process my thoughts, I will do that. But at night, if I'm also just like, I can tell I'm going to bed with a lot of thoughts, it's a great time to get it out too, and just to kind of iron out my thoughts when they feel like this. So night is a great time too. And I think a top tip is to get a journal you're actually excited about. When I was in college, I would go to Barnes & Noble and pick out the journal that was like calling my name. But there were times where I just would use whatever journal I was given, and I wrote in it far less. Like there's one that's like literally like zebra print with hot pink. I don't know where that journal came from. I did use it. I didn't enjoy it, but like I went and picked this one out, and it has like sweet little hummingbirds and butterflies, and I just love this one. So I started this one at the end of August. It's almost the end of September, and this is where I'm at. I've written this much just by writing a little bit every day. I also take my journal to church, and I write out the sermons too, because when I'm doing my actual like Bible study time, I do like to go back and revisit the sermon notes and kind of like review it in my mind, because I feel like it goes down a level deeper. So that's like another thing that's in here, is if I go to any talks or any sermons, I will write that in here, but it's basically just those two things. So common mistakes I think a lot of people make when it comes to journaling is they'll just write on a lot of different random places, like a lot of random paper, a lot of thin, small journals. It's like their stuff is just so spread out. They don't have like one book they keep in one place. And that's my next tip, is like, I think just not keeping your journal in the same place and journaling in the same place, having it there together with my Bible is such a help for me in the morning. Like I go zoop right there, my pen is right there. So that helps me a lot, that I'm not having to spend time searching for it. I think the next mistake is just like judging ourselves or criticizing ourselves. I mean, honestly, Socrates said, know thyself. It's so important to know thyself, and we're not perfect. If we're striving for perfection, I mean, that's kind of the wrong goal, right? Like we're never going to be perfect. And so I do things all the time that I have to say I'm sorry to my kids and to my husband about. So just being really brutally honest with myself is the best way I can level up, because I'm not trying to justify any bad behavior, and I'm also not trying to criticize myself, just like having a safe place to completely let my guard down, what I'm really thinking about, and just zero judgment, zero criticism really helps me like untangle those thoughts that are all crazy and see things, my hope, from the Lord's perspective to gain wisdom. That's my hope. I think the next mistake is like people are trying to like write well, when really, like I say, like know the genre. Like the genre is free flow journaling. Like it does not have to be a work of literature. It does not have to be grammatically correct. Like have that run-on sentence if you want to. Who cares? All we're trying to do is get our thoughts like out on paper, think more clearly, get wisdom, get perspective. Like who cares? Just let it flow. That's my best advice. And the last one's probably just perfectionism, like just making sure it's all so perfect. Like I hope it's a space you can just totally let loose. For me, it is. I just let loose in there, and it just is a place where I do not have to be perfect. And I think if you could just free yourself from the same thing, it would be such a rejuvenating practice to just completely let your guard down in your journal. So there's an old proverb I want to finish up with, but it says, thoughts disentangle themselves when passing over the lips and through the fingertips. I love that. Thoughts disentangling themselves when they pass over the lips and through the fingertips. Writing is such a rejuvenating practice. You know, a lot of times we're just consuming social media, or just consuming other people's thoughts, but we don't ever get quiet and know what we think. And that is just so very important to help the knowledge that we're trying to glean go deeper, but also just to sit for a while and be quiet. You know, for me, it is prayer. That is how I talk to the Lord, and that is how I cry out to the Lord and tell him I'm sad, tell him I'm happy, you know, just tell him the true state of my heart. And I feel like I do get perspective from him when I journal, especially when I pair that with my time in the Word, and I kind of write out like my takeaway from my time in the Word that morning, like the highlight or questions I'm thinking about, just really disentangling those thoughts. So if you feel like your head is a scary place, if you feel a little anxious and depressed, I hope you'll just consider 3 morning pages in the morning. It could just be so transformational. I can't even tell you what it's done for me in the last 15, really, I think it's been more closer to 20 years, to be honest. So I am so excited for you. If you've never journaled, now could be the day. Now could be the day that you just break out a journal, take yourself to a little cute shop, pick yourself out a journal, a pen you're excited to use. But if you've been living in perfectionism with journaling, I hope you're just stepping into a whole new world of freedom, and that you will feel so much more confident knowing what you think, because I think a lot of people can't even back up what they believe, or they're just spitting off what other people think. So getting quiet, knowing what you think, can be so valuable. So if you have made it this far in this video, you are definitely a learner, and I would just invite you to go download this free resource I have for you. It's like 64 books that have changed my life as a mom in many, many different ways, like so many different categories. So like faith and motherhood and cleaning and recipe books, and just the list goes on and on. So go download that resource, because readers are leaders and leaders are readers. And so pairing journaling with reading is such a powerful practice. Anyways, if you're a new mom, I hope you'll stay and hit subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good, He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.